Why hello, I didn't see you there. Welcome back to Red Mage Blue Mage MTG ASMR with your host, Kenny. It's time, my friends, it's time for a new format, a legit new format. It's Dominaria United. At time of recording, Seth and I have not got to record our traditional Filthy Casuals review, so we have not talked with each other about the cards, but they are out, they are ready, and I'm kind of itching to play. I went with what I tend to fall back on, at least as far as cube goes, so we'll see how it does in this format. It's blue-red tempo, but with a little twist, because we lean a little more top-heavy. Let me explain. The front runner, pun intended, of this deck is Najal the Storm Runner. This is an uncommon 2 blue-blue-red for a 5/4 that lets you cast your sorceries as if they had flash, and when the Storm Runner attacks, you can pay 2 to copy your next instant and sorcery. That's quite nice, and we do have some good instants and sorceries to copy. 2 Tolarian Geysers. This is a 3-mana bounce a creature, draw a card, which is incredible. We also have 2 copies of Timely Interference, kind of similar. It is 1 blue mana, target creature gets -1/-0 until end of turn. If you kicked it for 1 in a red, it blocks if able, and you draw a card. So we could potentially draw a lot of extra cards and get some tempo off of Najal. But we also have 3 copies of Essence Scatter, which I think is a great card. We've got some Impulses for some card selection and some smoothing. A Twinferno to further double up our spells. And then on the creature side of things, we have 2 copies of Voda Sea Scavenger. This is a 3-mana 3/2 with Domain. When it enters the battlefield, you look at the top X cards, where that's the number of land cards, basic land types you control. You get one of them in your hand, the rest go on the bottom of the library. So, a nice creature to play that will draw us some more action. We have a rare Haughty Djinn, 1 blue-blue for a star 4 flyer. Its power is equal to the number of instant and sorceries in your graveyard, and it makes your instants and sorceries cost 1 less to cast. And then at the tippy top, we have Djinn of the Fountain, a 6-mana 4/4 flyer with some more upside. Tolarian Terror, a 7-mana 5/5 ward 2, but it costs 1 less for each instant and sorcery we've cast. And Molten Monstrosity, an 8-mana 5/5 trample that costs X less for the greatest power among creatures we control. I don't want to say I expect big things. The thing that we're crucially missing in this pile of cards is just red damage spells. A Lightning Strike or 2 would have gone a very long way, but we'll see what we can do with what we've got. Catch ya in round 1. Opponent is going first. We have a rough hand that we're looking at because we have some good cards: Timely Interference, Haunting Figment, Voda Sea Scavenger, Djinn of the Fountain. We have 3 mountains. I think because we're drawing, this is worth a keep. Any blue source over the next 2 turns, and we're in good shape. If we don't get that blue source, we're in bad shape. Kind of crazy how that works. Opponent mulliganed. It's good for us. We drew an Essence Scatter. Could be good. I mean, we need that blue source. Opponent is white-blue so far, and they're casting Samite Herbalist. 2-mana 2/1. When it becomes tapped, they gain a life and scry 1. So we drew a non-mountain. Well, it is a mountain. It's Wooded Ridgeline. It's a green-red land. We could be in trouble here. Opponent plays their 3rd color with a Molten Tributary, so they are Jeskai currently. Hitting us for 2, gaining a life, and scrying something to the top. Now we drew an island. That's good. I think we just have to pass to them and try to hit something with Essence Scatter, because they're on 4 mana now, keeping something on top. It definitely looks suspicious, but I mean, what are we going to do? Okay, they're going for Wyra, Ageless Innovator, 2-mana 2/3. Tap, put 2 Ingenuity counters on Wyra, then you may put an artifact with mana value X or less from your hand on the battlefield. I'm not that impressed with that card, because the artifacts in this set are pretty dookie, but we're going to use our mana this turn and go ahead and Essence Scatter that, just to keep additional pressure off of us. Opponent's down to 3 cards in hand. They're getting decent value off of the Herbalist. Scrying again, putting something on bottom. We drew another island. Now that's very good for us. So now we can go vote a Sea Scavenger for 3. So it's a 3/2. We get to keep one of these things in our hand. It's a bunch of lands. So that's good. That was a good filter. Okay, pass to them. Now, if they come at us, we could Timely Interference the Samite Herbalist just to cycle this Timely Interference. I think that's pretty good, actually. Let them scry again. They're at 23, we're at 16. They keep one on top. It's less good for us, obviously. Go ahead and block. One blocker. They go for Furious Bellow, giving it +3/+0 and first strike until end of turn. So now our Timely Interference isn't going to get us anything. So I think we just let that happen. Just let them go 1 for 1 on us. The scry does nothing, of course, because they already kept on top. Okay. All in all, this isn't feeling too bad, honestly. So now we can play our Haunting Figment. This is a 2/1 Vigilance. Can't be blocked as long as we've cast an instant or sorcery this turn. And now we pass. If they just attack us, do we block? I mean, probably. For me, most of the point of the Haunting Figment is just to have a creature that we're going to play early that has some kind of utility late. They're really hesitating. It feels like they play Get to Amplifier. 2 mana, 1/2. Was not kicked. If it was kicked, they return target creature and opponent controls their hand, and then when they cast an instant or sorcery, it gets +2/+0. Okay. Go to attacks. Okay, getting another scry. Yeah, I think we just block. It's our turn, and now we have enough that we can cast Gin of the Fountain. This is our 6 mana 4/4 flyer. When we cast an instant or sorcery, it either gets +1/+1 until end of turn, it flickers, or we scry 1. There is red removal that is capable of dealing with this. Instead, they play their own Vote a Sea Scavenger for 3. It's a good play from them. Drew another Timely Interference. I really don't hate that, because now we have 2 instants that we can kick. I mean, the kick's not really relevant on defense, but 2 instants that will draw us a card and can either give our Djinn +1/+1 or scry or flicker. Okay, they're casting Destroy Evil. Destroy target creature with toughness 4 or greater. So what we can do is Timely Interference, give -1/-0 to the Get to Amplifier, flicker our Gin of the Fountain. That draws us a card. We are going to get hit for 5 at least here. That's exactly what's happening. It's 11-24. Our Gin returns, and now it's our turn. Jaw the Stormrunner. That's good. So let's go ahead and cast that. And do we attack? I think so. Attack with our Gin of the Fountain. It's 11-20. So now we have a 4/4 and a 5/4. We have a Timely Interference, which can save our Gin of the Fountain. They play Kelton Strike Team, kicked. So you got a 3/1 that's going to make 2 1/1 White Soldier tokens. And their creatures have haste. Okay. So they've got a big attack here, potentially. I don't know if they're going to go for it, though. I think we're probably going to... Okay, it's our turn. I think we just want to draw a couple cards. So we're going to cast Timely Interference. No, we're not. That's only when he attacks. Najal, that is. So it's our turn. Okay. Another Voda Sea Scavenger. Skeet Scavenger. Alright, good job, Kenny. Okay, we're at 11. We could force a couple of blocks. No, we can't. Here's what we could do. go to combat, attack with Najal, and then we can timely interference, kick it, force their amplifier to block. Yeah, let's force their Voda Sea Scavenger to block. Done. Let's go ahead and scry one with our Djinn. A Haunting Figment. It's not good enough, I don't think. It's a creature, but it's not that good. And then also force their Kelton Strike team to block. Draw another card. Okay, so that takes care of 2 of their creatures. We drew some cards. And now we can cast Voda Sea Scavenger. Just gonna let us look at the top 3. An Essence Scatter and a Tolarian Geyser. We only get one of those. It's gonna be the Geyser. The bounce spell, draw a card. It's 11 to 20. I wonder if trading off Najal was correct there. We're at 11, which is a pretty high life total, and they have 2 1/1 soldiers and their get to amplifier. Now they cast and kick a Cleaving Skyrider. 2/2. When it's kicked, it deals X damage to any target where X is the number of attacking creatures. Oh, they did that pre-combat. That was their mistake. They have no mana and they're attacking with... Okay, we just get to block some stuff for free. Okay, they messed that up. They messed it up pretty bad. Now what do we want to do? They have a 2/2 flyer, which we don't want to bounce. We have a 2/3 flyer in hand though, so we can just go to combat. Attack with both our creatures. If they trade their Skyrider for our Scavenger, we're going to be pretty pleased with that actually. They take it, so now it's 10 to 13. We play a Soaring Drake and end the turn. And depending how spicy they want to get, this Tolarian Geyser might just seal the deal for us. They're attacking with all. Do we just let them? That would take us down to 7. I think that's okay. No blocks for us. Save our Tolarian Geyser, save our Soaring Drake. I just don't... there's no reason... Okay, they go Heroic Charge, giving their creatures +2/+1. So we're at 3 now. Okay, that's not so bad, honestly. So we can begin this turn by impulsing. Go and give our Djinn an extra +1/+1. Twinferno. That's very good. Because now we can attack with everything. And Twinferno Tolarian Geyser. Let's just attack with everything. Oh, that was so stupid of us. We literally could have just double striked our Djinn of the Fountain and won right there. That was awful. If we lose this, that is a total bonehead move. And we deserve to lose. Go ahead and Tolarian Geyser. Bounce back that guy. Go ahead and scry 1 again. Bounce back their token. We drew another Tolarian Geyser. We'll add Tolarian Terror on top. Which means we can now just cast a Tolarian Terror. That goes a long way. 1 blue mana for a 5/5 ward too. And they surrender. Whew. We almost mailed that game away. We had it for free the turn before, and we worked a little bit harder than we needed to. Alright, 1-0 in this format. Time to retire? Join me after the break to see if I quit Magic forever.
Do you love watching movies? Do you hate watching movies? Boy oh boy, do I have the show for you. On Watching Movies, April and Kenny watch movies. Instant classics like Pride and Prejudice and The Mummy. Despicable gutter trash like Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Divisive, controversial picks like 2001, A Space Odyssey. Each month our hosts discuss and analyze a movie, then put out a watch-along commentary track, Enticing. Whether you like watching movies or hate watching movies, you'll love Watching Movies with April and Kenny, now streaming on your favorite platform.
We go first, rewarded for our virtue. This hand, we have 2 tap lands, Molten Tributary, which is blue-red, Wooded Ridgeline, which is red-green, and then some good plays, Timely Interference, Haunting Figment. An untapped land will make this hand much better. I think it's very keepable. Opponent is thinking, and they have mulliganed. Never a good choice, if you can avoid it. A little hot tip from me. Opponent plays Thran Portal. It's a complicated card. It is a land. It is a gate. Enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or other fewer lands. They chose the land type that it is. And when they tap this thing, it costs them a life. So that could be very tricky for them. Okay, we could cast Haunting Figment this turn. I think we're going to. It makes next turn a little annoying, because we might have to play this Wooded Ridgeline and not be able to cast our Soaring Drake, but the upside of having an untapped land is good. Okay, I like this. Our opponent goes Cult Conscript, which I don't think is a good card. 1 mana 2/1 enters the battlefield tapped. You can pay 2 to return it from the graveyard to the battlefield only if a non-skeleton died this turn. I think that's pretty junky, actually. Let's go and attack them with our Figment, and then end the turn. Now here's a question. If they attack, do we trade? I don't think so. Next turn we can play our Soaring Drake, which blocks it profitably. Or we have... they're just passing. Pixie Illusionist. Okay. Go ahead and attack them. Okay, they're just F6'd. Very good. Play our Soaring Drake. Now what do we do? Again, same question. If they attack us, what do we do? Okay, opponent has 3 color as well. White, black, red. I felt like this was going to be a soupy format with all this fixing. Ooh. They cast Lagomos, Hand of Hatred. At the beginning of combat on your turn, they get a 2/1 red elemental with trample and haste that they sack at the end of turn. And then they can tap Lagomos and Diabolic Tutor, but only if 5 or more creatures have died. That's pretty interesting. Okay, we're on 4 mana right now. Do we just geyser their Lagomos? Waste their time? Let's go to combat. Attack them with our Drake. It's 18 to 14. Again, they're F6'd. I'd really love to Inferno this Tolarian Geyser, but I think that's getting a little bit precious. So let's play our Pixie Illusionist. Then let's Tolarian Geyser their Lagomos just to waste their time. Draw a card. Play a rare Ratadrabic of Urborg. 4 mana 3/3 Vigilance Ward 2. Other zombies they control have Vigilance. Whenever another legendary creature they control dies, they make a token that's a copy, except it's a 2/2 zombie. Whatever you say, man. We're just going to go to combat and hit them for 3 in the air. 18 to 11. In the turn. Now what we could do on their turn is Twinferno a Timely Interference to reduce damage and draw 2 cards, and make our Tolarian Terror in hand cost 2 less to cast. Don't hate that. They play Aggressive Sabotage. 3 mana, target player discards 2 cards, and then we also take 3 damage. So we're going to be discarding 2 cards here. So I think instead of doing our Twinferno Timely Interference, we're just going to resolve that. Discard a land and Twinferno. Let them go to combat. Do we want to draw a card off of Timely Interference? Yeah, I think we're just going to go ahead and cycle it. Drew Najal the Stormrunner. That's good. I'm going to attack with our Soaring Drake and our Pixie Illusionist again. It's 15 to 8. Then we can drop Najal, Stormrunner. We still have our 5/5 Ward 2 Tolarian Terror in hand, which now costs 4. So we're leaving ourselves out. If we draw some good instant or sorcery, we can attack with an Najal and copy the spell. Another Timely or Tolarian would be great with that. Okay, opponent replays their Legomos at last. So they're going to get a little 2/1 elemental. Okay, so they cast Destroy Evil, they kill Najal. Now they're swinging with all. So we're going to be taking a total, if we don't block here, we'll be taking a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage. I think we're going to block the Cult Conscript with our Haunting Figment. If they want to waste their time resurrecting that little dude, they're more than welcome. Okay, so now we can attack with our 2 flyers. They're down to 4. And I think we're going to just drop... See, we drew a Gin of the Fountain. So Gin of the Fountain uses our mana much more efficiently. But Tolarian Terror makes it so that if they have the removal spell, maybe they can't cast it because it has Ward 2, or maybe they use their whole turn dealing with it. I think it's Tolarian Terror. Not the mana efficient play, but it's just so they're red, white, black. They just have all the removal available to them. It'd be so easy for them to have Jaya's Fire Nado or whatever that is. They kill our Jin, and then we're just kind of stuck in the same place again. This makes it so that their attacks are really bad. And if they have a removal spell, they have to use the entire turn to deal with Tolarian Terror, and then they get hit down to 1. They cast Balduvian Atrocity. 3 mana, 2/3 menace. If it was kicked, they get something that costs 3 or less. So they got their Cult Conscript. Wow, that's I don't think. And then they play Liliana of the Veil. Wow. Must be nice. Target player sacrifices a creature, us. I guess we'll lose our Pixie Illusionist. Attacking with a 2/1. We'll block. Okay, we drew a land, which we'll keep in hand, I think. It's 10-3. They're tapped out. If we attack with our 5/5, they can just double block and trade with it, which doesn't seem great. Just attack with our Soaring Drake. And we're just going to hit them. They're at 1. It's 10-1. We cast our Gin of the Fountain. 2 lethal attackers on the board. They have 1 card in hand to deal with this problem. It is a Coalition Warbrute, a 3/4 trample enlist, so that will do it. We're attacking with everything, but we know what their hand is and they're tapped out, so we can just block as we so desire. We go to 6. They're at 1. They have 1 card in hand. Well, it's not even in hand. It's in the graveyard. Their Cult Conscript, which they can resummon. Does nothing. We have 6 power in the air, which we will now happily send their way. And they are dead. Nice. Beat Liliana of the Veil. That is not an easy one to get. Very good. Onward and upward, we hope. Alright, 2-0, game 3. We go first. A blue and red source, that's a great start. Pixie Illusionist, 2 Haunting Figments, Najal, and Gin of the Fountain. I think this is good, because either we're drawing lands, which we love, or spells, which we love. So, yeah. Sounds good. Go with an island and a Pixie Illusionist. 1/1 flyer. Can tap to make a land. We have a different type of land. Ooh, our opponent answers back with a good 1-drop of their own. Battlefly Swarm. 1 mana, 1/1 flying. Pay 1 to give it Death Touch. If they want to trade, we will happily trade. So we're going to attack. They take 1, 2019, when you cast a Haunting Figment. Red-black, they cast Splatter Goblin. 2 mana, 2/1. When it dies, target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. That is good against us. It's got to be said. Okay, we drew a land, a Wooded Ridgeline. Let's go ahead and attack for 1 again. It's our Illusionist. Cast another Haunting Figment. These Figments look really bad in a Splatter Goblin. He can happily block them and then kill both of our Figments. Now, on the off chance we ever do cast our own instants or sorceries, they become unblockable, so that's cool. They're all out attacking, so they probably have a follow-up play here. They do. So at 16-18, they play a rare, the Raven Man. 2 mana, 2/1. Beginning of each end step, if a player discarded a card this turn, they get a 1/1 black bird creature token with flying in. That can't block. They can also pay for and just make us discard a card, which is probably what they're going to start doing. So let's start by just attacking them with all of our creatures. They just trade the Raven Man for a Haunting Figment. I couldn't be more pleased. That's awesome. Okay, and now we can cast Voda Sea Scavenger. 3/2. Looks at the top 3 and we get to keep 1. Tolarian Terror or Timely Interference or an Island. Boy, that's tough. Because the Island lets us play Najal next turn. Tolarian Terror is just nowhere close to being cast. Timely Interference can draw us a card and potentially win us a combat. I think it's just the Island, I'm sorry to say. I mean, that's really sad for us if we wind up drawing more lands after that, but what are we going to do? Okay, they're hitting us with the Splatter Goblin. We will take it. Any block we make right now is a 2-for-1 for them. And they cast Coalition Warbrute. This is the 3/4 Trample Enlist. I wonder what they would do if we attacked right now. I say that, but I know exactly what they would do. What they would do is they would instantly snap off a block, even though we have 5 mana available, some of which is green for a pump spell. And there's numerous blue tricks and red tricks. They would just block instantly. That's a good heuristic for you kids out there. Imagine your opponent doesn't even know what a combat trick is, even when they have them in their own hand. They just don't understand that that's a possibility and will act accordingly. They're attacking with... Okay. They were swinging with both the Battlefly Swarm, the 1/1 flyer that can become Death Touch, and the Splatter Goblin. And I was ready to block the Splatter Goblin, but they called off that attack. So that's good. 13-14. We're going to attack them again in the air for 1. And then cast a Gin of the Fountain post-combat. They got to do something about our flying force now. Well, that's not really true. They have their Battlefly Swarm, which they can just hold back as long as they hold up a black mana. Ooh, they cast Garna, Bloodfist of Keld. 4 mana, 4/3. When another creature you control dies, draw a card if Garna was attacking. Otherwise, it does 1 damage to each opponent. Oh, hello. Okay, we drew a land, which we should probably play in case we draw our other Tolarian Terror. Yeah, we just go for our 1 attacker in the air, the 1/1 Pixie Illusionist. It's 13-12. Go ahead and play our land. And it's a little ugly to show them that we have no cards in hand. We have no more plays, but again, if we draw that... Okay, they Citizen's Arrest, so they have an Oblivion Ring for our flyer. I still don't think that opens up a lot of attacks for them. Maybe they attack with their War Brute and enlist something. That is exactly what they do. So now they have a 7/4 attacking us, as well as their 2/1 Splatter Goblin. I think we're going to double block the War Brute with our Scavenger and Figment. I understand if they have a combat trick here, we really get wrecked. They don't have it. So it's now 7-12. They lost their Dangerous Enlister. Yeah, we drew another land. This one we're going to hold in our hand, because we have 7 mana to cast the Terror. Do we keep attacking at this point? 7-12. I think we just pass now. If they attack with their Battlefly Swarm, we're going to trade it with our Pixie Illusionist. And then we have our 5/4 Najal. They still have 3 cards in hand. Very troublesome. Very troublesome. Attacking with Splatter Goblin alone. I think we just have to block with our Pixie Illusionist. And if they want to use a combat trick, they don't. Okay, they're just getting cards off of their Garna. Another Balduvian Atrocity, so they're going to get back their Splatter Goblin. That's a good play. It's quite good. And play a Goblin Picker, just some fodder on the battlefield. 6-12, we drew another land. Just have to play a land, no attacks. It's bad. It's very bad. Can they just win here? They attack with everything. We can block the Garna and go to 1. They're just attacking with Balduvian Atrocity, it looks like. They're probably kind of worried about this Najal the Stormrunner being able to copy spells. They play Hurler Cyclops, 5/4, pay 1, sacrifice a creature, do a damage to any target. I mean, that's going to do it, because they can just pay 4 and kill us from there. Alright. Good game. We did not draw very well at the end of that game. They had a great deck. That looked really cool, actually. Alright. 2-1. Opponent goes first, but this hand is quite good, I think. 3 islands, Essence Scatter, double Impulse, Najal the Stormrunner. Seems fine. Opponent goes the green-white dual land, Radiant Grove. We drew another island. Pretty much the worst draw at this point. Then they go Benalish Faith Bonder, 1/3 Vigilance Enlist. We drew a mountain. Okay, we'll pass. We've got Essence Scatter and Impulse up. The Weather Seed Treaty, so we can't counter that. So this is a Saga. 3 mana, search your library for a basic land, they put it in the battlefield. Chapter 2, they get a 1/1. Chapter 3, they get +X/+X to a creature and trample, where X is basic land types. I don't think we've seen a single 2-color deck in this format so far, which is interesting. I mean, I'm not surprised. Something I'll discuss with Seth, but I think this format is going to be soup. Okay, let's go ahead and Impulse. So what do we want? Vote a Sea Scavenger, Timely Interference, or a Soaring Drake? Probably a Soaring Drake. Okay, let's play another land, and I think we're just going to pass with the same setup. Essence Scatter and Impulse, ready to go. Not super mana efficient, but we've got 5 mana available right now. It's quite scary. Okay, they didn't enlist with their Saproling. Oh, enlist, I always forget. haste is important. Okay, so they're tapping out for Zar Ojin and Scion of Ifrava. That is a great Essence Scatter target. We got a Tolarian Terror, which is only 5 mana now. Quite pleased with that. Go ahead and put out our Soaring Drake. Okay, the Weatherseed Treaty's 3rd trigger is going off, so they're going to get a big attack here. They play a Magnagoth Sentry 4/4 reach, attacking us with their 4/4. It's 14 to 20. On the plus side, they're almost out of juice now. We're just going to drop Tolarian Terror on them and attack them with our Soaring Drake. They cast Sprouting Goblin, 2 mana 2/2. They kicked it? Yes? No? Yes. Some search for a basic land type land card. Put in their hand. They're attacking with their Banalish Faith Bonder and enlisting their Magnagoth Sentry. So we could block that. I guess we just do. Just trade for them there. Oh, wow. So they can't get any benefits from this, but they cast Phyrexian Missionary. This is one of my, I think this is an A card. 2 mana, 2/3 lifelinker with 1 and a black kicker. If you kicked it, you get to raise dead. It's just nuts, really. Okay, so we have to cast Najal the Stormrunner this time. No attacks. We once again had the Essence Scatter Impulse option, but just not worth it. Opponent might just start using their Sprouting Goblin's extra ability. They do. It lets you sacrifice lands to draw cards one at a time. They're rewarded. They get Radha Coalition Warlord. 3/3. Whenever she becomes tapped, another creature gets +X/+X, where X is your domain. So now do we want to trade off our Najal for Magnagoth? No, I don't think so. We're at 10, but now we have a 3 mana Molten Monstrosity, which we will cast. It's a huge 5/5 blocker. We could attack with a Najal and then double Impulse, but we also have an Essence Scatter up. I think we're at 10. I think we're just going to sit back for a minute. They cast their own Molten Monstrosity, but we get to Essence Scatter it. I'm telling you, Green Stompy is, I think, actually disgusting in this format. We Impulse at end of turn. Yeah, I think we do. We're giving up the double Impulse we would get off Najal, but we get one of these cards. These cards are awful. A Haunting Figment or a Volsh Tide Turner. I guess we'll take the Volsh Tide Turner. Got a Twinferno, which is cool. Go ahead and cast our Volsh Tide Turner. But Twinferno, the double strike thing at instant speed, is actually kind of sick. Do we attack them this turn? No way. It's 10 to 18. Our Twinferno could get really Oh, they play Shivan Devastator. So this is X red for a Flying Haster with X/1/1 counters on it. So they just played a 6/6 Flying Haste. Pretty bold into our full blue-red deck where we've cast multiple Essence Scatters. Well, they're doing a full swing. That might actually work out decently for us. Making their Phyrexian Missionary a 6/7 with Radha. I mean, that's great, obviously. Go to blocks. Block this 6 in the air. Block this 6/7. And then eat Radha for free. I mean, that's huge for them. 2 of our creatures are dead. It's 10 to 24. Haughty Jin, which is a 4/4 at this point. 4/4 flyer. It's not that good. We'll cast it. No attacks. We just have to sit back here on defense. we're going to die in 2 turns to the Shivan Devastator. Oh, maybe quicker. So they are Jaya's Fire Nadoing our Molten Monstrosity. So they might just go for a full swing here. Yeah, looks like everything but the Sprouting Goblin. So, what can we do here? We can block... We have to block the thing in the air. No, we don't. We can't just take the Magnagoth plus the Shivan Devastator. That's the problem. So we can block the Shivan Devastator in the air. And then just block the Phyrexian Missionary. It's 5 to 24. They still have a ridiculous board. We drew Pixie Illusionist. So we have one more block against the Shivan Devastator. We're not really drawing into anything. I think if we drew a Tolarian Geyser, we could double cast it off Najal, bounce all of their threatening creatures, and have some kind of chance. But we're just not doing that. Okay, so opponent is 4 color. Cast to blockers, block the Shivan Devastator. We go to... Oh, that got us. Alright. Yeah, I mean, I really don't think from that position there was a series of cards we could have drawn that would actually get us out of that predicament. Okay, 2 and 2. Easy come, easy go. Well, who knows? Maybe we're about to have the most epic comeback of all time. Let's find out. We go first, and this hand looks great. Double Essence Scatter, Impulse, Volsh Tide Turner. I think that's A-okay. Since we're on the play, should we just run out Volsh Tide Turner on turn 2? It's a 1-3, taps for blue. I think so. It's a decent way to keep us safe from whatever they could play on turn 2. Again, they're 3 color, they're Grixis already. And then after this, okay, they didn't play anything. We got a Haughty Djinn. The funny thing is, I'm not super eager to run that out into them. I think we're just going to pass to them. Yeah, this Djinn is going to be good later on. They're just lightning striking our Volsh Tide Turner. Honestly, go to town, friend. That's a poor use of lightning strike. I would love to have some lightning strikes in our deck. They go Soaring Drake. See, now you're going to get Essence Scattered. And you're going to feel bad. A Twinferno. It's pretty good. So now we just pass to them. We again have Essence Scatter, Impulse. Also have... They go for Voda Sea Scavenger. Yeah, we're not going to let that happen either. Counter that. Essence Scatter. Then Impulse at end of turn. What do we want out of our pile? We could get an Essence Scatter, a Soaring Drake, or a Voda Sea Scavenger. We're running out of juice, so I think it's Voda Sea Scavenger. I can go for an Island and a Voda Sea Scavenger. Look at the top 2. We keep one. Tolarian Geyser or Molten Monstrosity. Oof. My heart. I love both these cards. I want to say... See, Tolarian is better. It's much juicier. But Molten Monstrosity is actual board presence, which we are kind of in need of. Tolarian Geyser it is. Watch that come back to bite us real hard. Okay, opponent goes Phyrexian Rager. 2/2 for 3 mana. Draw a card, lose a life. That is one of the all-time greats. Okay, we draw our Geyser. A famously bad card against Phyrexian Rager, but I'm going to cast Haughty Djinn. They seem to be reading it. They have 2 mana open. I mean, if you have an Essence Scatter, this is an easy Essence Scatter target. 3/4 flyer, that makes... Okay, so they must not have it. And go to combat. I think we just offer a trade. We just attack with our Voda Sea Scavenger. They're blocking. Very well. Depending what happens this turn, they cast Hurler Cyclops. That's great. So they use their whole turn to cast that. I think we start just by attacking with our Haughty Djinn. It's 20-16. I really want to Twinferno Tolarian Geyser. I think that's just greedy, though. I think we just do it now. Just bounce the Hurler Cyclops. Draw a new card. In the turn. We drew a Najal, which is good. Between Najal and Haughty Djinn, that's 9 damage on the board. And if they let it through, it could be a double Twinferno, double strike. Okay, they cast the Hurler Cyclops again, plus Vohar Voldalian Desecrator, which is a looter. It has more going on, but it's basically a 2-mana looter, which is very good. Ooh, and a 3-mana Tolarian Terror. That's great. Attack with our Haughty Djinn. Then we're going to cast Najal, the Stormrunner. Again, depending what happens next turn, a double Twinferno could be absolutely busted. That's a Quadferno. Seldom seen, the Quadferno. Will we see it today? Okay, so our opponent cast and kicked Enthrall to the Pits. They gain control of our Haughty Djinn, and they're going to sacrifice at end of turn. I mean, that was decent. It's their whole turn to basically kill that creature. It's 18-12. Do we attack with our Najal? They're tapped out. I think we do. They block like an absolute fool. We give double strike to Najal. They lose their Cyclops Hurler, and now we have a 2-mana 5/5 Ward 2. Our opponent's got big problems. But, you know, they have lots of mana. 7 mana plus a looter. They've got 3 cards in hand. There are lots of ways out of this for them. They play a rare, Ravaz of the Claw. 1 black-red, 3/3 menace. Tap, add 2 mana in any combination, spend it only for dragon spells. And then they tribute to Urborg my Najal. Okay. Interesting. Well, we drew a Tolarian Geyser. Do we just do that? I think maybe we just attack. They're tapped out. They need to block whatever we do next. Attack them with the 5/5. They just take it. Now I think we just get the Ravaz just to waste their time to draw a card. We drew an Impulse. Yeah, I think we just pass an Impulse at end of turn. They cast Mira's Outrider, 4/4 reach. We also take some damage based on their domain. It's 15-7. It's not bad. 4/4 plus a 1/2 blocks our Tolarian Terror. Let us impulse, please. Timely interference. Is that the key? Yeah. Let's get that timely interference. My turn. A second timely interference. Well, we're going to attack. Go to their blocks. They're double blocking. Timely interference on the Myra's Outrider. Gives it -1/-0, so it won't kill our Tolarian Terror. Opponent is looting, but they're going to lose their Outrider. Discarding an aggressive Sabotage. Alright. In the turn, it's 14-8. They replay Rivaz of the Claw. Sure. 2 cards left in hand. Looks like they're done with their turn. Yep. Pixie Illusionist, which we can now kick. That's actually great. Let's play our land. Go for our attack. See what they're going to chump with. They cast Lightning Strike. It has Ward 2, so they need to pay for that 2 extra. Okay, so next to blockers. Will they double block? They need to. I guess they don't actually. So they'll do 2 no matter what. Okay, so next to damage. So they use 2 spells to do that, and now we're going to cast and kick Pixie Illusionist, which is now a 3/3 flyer. 13-9. They actually discarded a spell with their Vohar, which gains them a life. Drained us for 1. Thrill of Possibility. Not a great one. They cast Sengir Connoisseur. 3/3 flyer. When one or more creatures dies, put a 1/1 counter on it. Okay. Our timely interference can definitely do some work here. Let's go to attack. I mean, much depends on this last card of theirs, but it seems like they haven't had anything. Okay, so now we timely interfere. They're going to loot, trying to find something they can do here. They don't find anything. They lose their Sengir. It's 13-9. Vohar is doing work. I mean, they're filtering through a lot of their deck. They cast, Solkanar the Tainted. Mythic Rare 5/5. At the beginning of your end step, choose one that hasn't been chosen. Draw a card, drain someone for 2, deal 3 to a creature or planeswalker, exile it, then return it to the battlefield under its opponent's control. And we drew a land. Well, this might be it, fellas. To be fair, as I said, they did loot a lot, and I would not be surprised at all if this was the card they started with. So they hit us for 5 and then drew a card. We do get to vote a Sea Scavenger this turn. So we get a card from our top 3. We get Chin of the Fountain. Actually, not bad. In the turn, because now we could block Sokanar, and next turn we get to cast Gin of the Fountain, and then we're going to get Sokanar. If they can't kill us very quickly, they are in a world of hurt. They have Jayas and Fire Nado, so they just killed our Sea Scavengers. They're going to hit us for 6 probably this turn. Yep. And then they get to drain us at the end of their turn. Yep, so we're dead. Can't be too mad. That was a pretty sweet deck. Yep. I mean, even going over the top, they sacrificed their Vohars to its second ability so they could regain a card from their graveyard. They got their Lightning Strike, so they had 2 different ways to kill us there. That was a sweet deck. I mean, they roasted us pretty good. Interesting. I think the big takeaway from playing one round of Dominaria United is that 3-color is a minimum. This is more of a 3-color set than Streets of New Capenna, which was a 3-color set. So, interesting. I'm excited. I'm excited to try more. I think this deck was sorely lacking some red removal spells, as we just saw there. We just kept getting hit by lightning strikes and fire nados, and all we had was bounce. But I'm eager to get back in there. Thanks for joining me. Join me next time. Good day.